Chapter 11, Shinto Holy Land, Crushing Many Supreme Elders. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 11 Shinto Saint, Crushing Many Supreme Elders. As soon as Chen Fan appeared, he immediately attracted the attention of many disciples. Look, who is that? Do you know where Qiankun can fly? It's so unfamiliar, I'm afraid the new brother must know the rules. He's finished. Elder Chen hastened to kill him. I feel sorry for this little moment and have a moment of silence. The elders of the sect are in charge of affairs, and the younger brothers who know the rules will be punished. Chen Xuandao is on duty today. There was a lot of discussion. Chen Fan didn't pay attention. Actually, he came so openly, and there was some personal grudge involved, because at the beginning, he also requested to become a Shinto saint. After all, this place belongs to the edge zone of Fengyao and is still very close to Bai state. The result was obvious. He came back in vain and the talks collapsed. First, he had a master before, so it was suitable for him to become a master again, and he could only stay and study in the name of his family. The Shinto saint refused. After all, the Chen family's prestige was restored. Secondly, there was no one left in the family at the time, so he made the decision alone. For a junior, it obviously carries enough weight. Moreover, his talent is sufficient. Even if he is considered good in the current Chen family, that is relatively speaking, but he is not qualified to join the top sect. The weak eat the strong. As for Empress Master's master, rounding off, it's basically bought by the Chen family out of their wealth, right? That's all I can say. Of course, with his current level, such a past would touch his state of mind at all, and he didn't care. Absolutely, I can do it, I'm floating. What kind of brother are you? Please tell me your name quickly. At this time, a young man with sword-like features blocked Chen Fan's path, his expression extremely serious. He's Elder Chen's senior brother. It seems he's going to enforce the law and patrol for Elder Chen. A younger brother on his face exclaimed. Chen Fan just glanced at the other person. He felt as if he had fallen into an ice cellar. His soul was clear and he quickly shook his head. Seeing such a scene, many brothers were immediately stunned. At the same time, Chen Fan released his aura. When looking for someone, you still need to follow the process carefully. After all, this place belongs to the master's power in this life. For a while, the breath of terror hit his face, and the younger brother immediately crawled up, not daring to speak loudly. It's because they are trying to live up to their expectations, but they really dare to raise their heads and cannot resist. I don't know what happened. Be aware of this aura. The strong men in the hall opened their eyes one after another. Who dares to break into my Shinto saint? That the real old guys, such as the inner sect elders and the Taishan elders, all came out in droves. The other party seems to be deliberately attracting them, but when you know whether you are an enemy or a friend, you can be careless. At this time, Shinto saint, in the hall of the saint, lynching beautiful eyes God, she seemed to be able to notice that her eyes were becoming red, and her soul was unable to control them, because in front of her, a soul attracting demon flag swayed back and forth. Release a red and black beam, swallowing her will. Grandma Luo moved her hand, continuously injecting power into the soul-inducing demon flag. He kept mumbling some inhuman words in his mouth. His eyes gradually became crazy, excited, and then extremely hot and vicious. Then he looked at Ling Qingcheng, who had lost consciousness, and sneered. Holy girl, you are careless. This soul-inducing demon flag has the ability to make people become possessed. If your will is weakened, no matter how strong you are, how can you stop me from seizing my body? After all, Ling Qingcheng is still a little young, a newbie in a thatched cottage, so she can succeed so easily. Becoming a demon is a process, to attract the inner demons, as long as she seizes the body when Ling Qingcheng's will is weakest, and after success, she can erase the newly emerged inner demons. Wealth and wealth are found in danger. Jijijiji. Granny Luo laughed wantonly, and the entire Saint Ladies' Hall looked extremely eerie and terrifying. Even if the Holy King comes back, what can he do to me? Soon, soon. The tone was full of excitement. With a bang, the door opened. Smelly old woman, what are you going to do to the saint? Chen Xuandao shouted angrily. He came to find the saint, but found that someone seemed to have broken into the sect. He was anxious for a long time whether he should poach someone or protect him. Finally, after hearing the commotion in the house, I chose to poach someone. The scene before him made him extremely angry and he took action directly. The witch has a heart that can be punished. When he said this, he felt guilty for a second to express his respect. Passing must pay attention to details, saving people is the most important thing. The laughing Granny Luo froze on the spot. Elder Chen, could it be that you want to stop me? Damn it, it was so close, how come someone broke in? Get out. Chen Xuandao moved forward without hesitation, the spiritual power in his hands surging crazily. If you dare to attack the saint, you will definitely die. Holy, how can I forgive you? Save the saint. This time is good. After rescuing it, what if it's possible that I can poach it 80% of the time? As for the saint, please let me go. One code will be the same. Grandma Luo secretly thought that was bad. It is not easy to deal with Chen Xuandao, however, at this time, the strange movement from the soul-inducing demon flag made her suddenly excited. It's time to seize the body. That without any hesitation, he directly aroused his soul and tried to enter Ling Qingqing's will, leaving his physical body behind and occupying the magpie's nest. As long as she succeeds, no one can stop her. Chen Xuandao's eyes flickered, and he immediately withdrew his hand. The distance was too close, and he might hurt the saint. He only blamed himself for being too weak. Luo Pepo looked at Ling Qingqing who was close at hand, and her arrogant voice came, Elder Chen, it's a pity that you are one step late. When I completely possess the saint's body, the saint will not do anything to me. He. Really? Suddenly Ling Qingqing's voice came. Not only Luo Pepo was frightened, but Chen Xuandao's eyes widened. Then, Ling Qingqing grabbed Luo Pepo's soul who was close at hand and pinched it in her palm. Go to the front. Who dares to break into my holy land? For a moment, several Saint Realm Masters appeared one after another. They directly surrounded Chen Fan and raised their vigilance. The disciples below realized that Chen Fan was a disciple of their Shinto saint and an intruder. They were shocked and admired his courage. He was done again. Chen Fan's face changed and he glanced around. Elders, it's been a long time since we last met. Upon hearing this, the strong men were slightly confused, looking at Chen Fan's appearance. He was so young, but his facial angularity seemed to have some impression. Are you, the young master of the Chen family? The great elder asked tentatively. It should be, the one from the Chen family came here before, but was driven away by them. It has only been a short time, and now he has reached this level. It may be, it must be, however, Chen Fan nodded. Yes, I am Chen Fan. Suddenly, there was a dead silence. The elders couldn't believe it. It was really the one from the Chen family. They looked at each other in bewilderment. When I think about Chen Fan's age, how strong can he be? He can take care of some weirdness, otherwise, he will lose face and it will be difficult for many disciples to convince him. Then the great elder snorted coldly. The momentum of the superior can be disobeyed and the majesty can't be hidden. His eyes were like torches, and he put pressure on Chen Fan. No matter why you come, the country has its own laws and the family has its own rules. Breaking into my holy land is a provocation. That he stood with his hands behind his back, and at the same time, he stretched out his right hand and pointed. The shadow of that finger was infinitely larger, and it must teach this kid a lesson. After all, the current Chen family, they are not afraid of the Holy Land at all. However, they have never taken the peak Chen family seriously. However, Chen Fan waved his hand casually, and the power of the peak powerhouse of the Holy Land was instantly broken. At the same time, the imperial power poured out, as majestic as the surging river, pressed towards the elders. The next moment, there was a bang. In an instant, several Saint Realm Masters were all controlled to fly backwards. Their eyes were extremely frightened. Even the top masters could be so embarrassed. Great Emperor. Chen Fan stood with his hands behind his back. Everyone, I'm here to find someone. As soon as the words fell, there was a bang in a certain place, and everyone looked over subconsciously. I saw the hunched figure of an old woman, flying directly into the sky like a cannonball. Following closely, a gorgeous figure, with unparalleled grace, soared into the air. With another palm, the old woman was knocked down, as if she had noticed that the Saint Realm had changed. Ling Qingqing looked sideways and looked at Chen Fan. All the great elders were beaten. Chapter 12, Taking advantage of the rebirth of the female emperor teacher, tricking her into becomin. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 12. Taking advantage of the fact that the female Emperor's master is still young, he tricked her into becoming his wife. At this moment, Ling Qingqing was moved. With his own strength, he crushed many great elders. Ordinary strong men could not do it at all. Just to say, this man who looked much younger than her was a great emperor. This idea was enough to drive people crazy. How could it be possible? She thought that she was extremely talented, but it was not so exaggerated. This boy should be an old monster. Thinking like this, when Chen Fan and Ling Qingqing looked at each other, the jade pendant obviously fluctuated, and he quickly pressed it down. If there was an accident, this person should be his reincarnated master, Emperor Xuanji, in this life. Finally, he was found by his disciple, but it seemed that there were some accidents with the master, and as a disciple, there was no need to worry. She is not an ordinary person. When the atmosphere was weird, the people below thought about other things instead. They looked at the two people above their heads. In this situation, they were a perfect match. No matter how you look at it, they were a perfect match. The elders of the Grand Council had no time to think about what happened to Ling Qingqing. They couldn't even protect themselves. Wait, meet the Emperor. This is a misunderstanding. If you know who the Emperor is coming here, who is he looking for? If you are the saint of Shinto, you must cooperate with us. The attitude of the Grand Council elder changed drastically. Respectfully, the saint of Shinto is indeed powerful, but you have to offend an emperor. You need a reason. God knows why Chen Fan has reached such a level. It's so terrifying, but his age doesn't matter at all. You dare to ask, you dare to say. Emperor Realm Powerhouse. When the Grand Elder said this, the disciples who reacted almost peed themselves. Damn, are you kidding me? Chen Fan did not hide it. This seat, I'm looking for her. This her, everyone knows, is Ling Qingqing, who suddenly appeared. Ling Qingqing was confused. Just look, you can't intervene. Who is it? The Grand Elders, their heads sank. It's over. The most gifted saint is being remembered by someone dangerous, but they can't stop it. When everyone's attention was diverted, Ling Qingqing's attention was diverted, but at this time, Luo Papa, who was broken and lingering, emitted a black gas from the soul, and then directly detonated the spiritual weapon, and the soul-guiding demon banner exploded, failed. Ling Qingqing was not controlled by her from beginning to end. No matter how she thought, she didn't understand. Her fate was certain death. At this moment, she made up her mind to drag someone down with her and cursed the heavens. Good. Ling Qingqing came back to her senses after sensing this breath. At the same time, the expressions of many elders changed drastically. The next moment, Chen Fan appeared beside Ling Qingqing and suppressed her with one hand, directly shattering her and her spiritual weapon. A mere ant, wanting to hurt others under his nose, looking for death. Granny Luo never knew why she failed and why it was so difficult to drag someone down with her. Seeing Chen Fan's decisive move, the elders knew that they had taken action, but no matter how they looked at it, they felt that there was something fishy. Ling Qingqing's breathing rose and fell. Being around a great emperor, she would always feel pressured, no matter how proud she was. Asked, "Why did you help you?" Chen Fan confirmed that the master had not awakened the memory of the previous life. Beautiful, said, you have a friend whose lover in the previous life owed him a child. Unfortunately, they did not achieve the right result, and the lover in the previous life entered the reincarnation. Now, that friend wants you to help, find his lover in the previous life, and return him a child. Ling Qingqing was confused, but she knew her limits and would not offend an emperor. If someone else talked to her about this strange topic, she would just turn around and leave. Then what is the relationship between your friend and you? Chen Fan thought about how to fool him next, said, of course. This friend of yours spent a lot of money to become the child husband of his lover in the previous life. They have a good relationship, and you are his lover in the previous life. That's right. At the beginning, he went to the female emperor's edge when he was still an infant, because everyone knows that the influence of the environment on a cultivator is crucial. As the saying goes, start from the baby and cultivate from the root. Unfortunately, it failed. Child-raised husband. Ling Qingqing's face became magical. There are still people who can reincarnate, but this child-raised husband. Was he so good at it in his previous life? Then who is your friend, that even if a great emperor joked with her, she would be happy to take it on? After all, it seems that the atmosphere is right, so just treat it as a contribution to the saint, Chen Fan said seriously. To be honest, it's all right, Chen Fan. Puff. Ling Qingqing's cold state of mind is almost dead. You are a friend of nothingness. Wait, was he really so good in his previous life? Somewhat unbelievable, her pretty face was confused. Chen Fan added, I know you don't believe it, but do you think that a great emperor would deceive you? Master, just believe your disciple. Ling Qingqing thought about it. Yes, there is no reason why Chen Fan, a great emperor, would find her and help her. Perhaps it is the bad fate left by her in her previous life. Think about yourself now, with an emperor husband. How glorious it is. But this husband came a little unexpectedly and a little carelessly. Hesitantly said, I don't believe you. But how can I say that I owe you a child? That she realized that she had amazing talent, and this confirmed it. After all, reincarnation and entering the reincarnation cycle to cultivate again meant that her strength in the previous life should be poor. Chen Fan said, let's put it this way, I owe you one. Ling Qingqing. She just bypassed it. However, the previous life is the previous life, and they met again, and there was still some strangeness. She wanted to continue this strange topic. Then how old are you now? Chen Fan looked too young. Although he could be an old monster and a strong man, his face was old, but his body gave people traces of time, and his temperament was too light. 23 years. Chen Fan played the whole play. Of course, I came from reincarnation. Ling Qingqing panicked for the first time. Her lover in the previous life actually cultivated faster than her, and was even more evil. The desire to compare suddenly came to her, because according to her current cultivation level, even if she reached the age of 23, she would not be able to cultivate to the level of an emperor. Don't believe it? Then you can touch your bones. Chen Fan suggested, the age of bones will not lie. Driven by the desire to compare, Ling Qingqing stretched out her hand and touched Chen Fan's bones. He is really 23. A 23-year-old emperor. I'm afraid there will be no one before and no one after. Is her husband in the previous life so powerful? Chen Fan smiled, are you willing to be your wife? Time is tight, there is no time to talk, be direct. Ling Qingqing felt a little embarrassed by the unexpected words. The great emperor husband came to see her. Why did she feel a bit like she was dreaming? Then what proof do you have to show me? Of course I have. Chen Fan took out the jade pendant and handed it to Ling Qingqing. This token has a trace of your soul from your previous life. Her face was red and jumping. There was no way, it was easy to fool him. If she took it out, she was afraid that it would be easy to get it, the ultimate magic weapon. Now you have it, right? It's enough, and it's fast enough. Ling Qingqing took the jade pendant and held it in her hand, a feeling of soul connection. Perhaps, this thing. Chen Fan, in order to find her, then he said, Ling Qingqing. It's really true. She still doubted now, was she really so good at it in her previous life? Chen Fan hummed, from now on, I will call you Qingqing. Although he was young at the time, his master did take good care of him. From the time he could run, he was given serious guidance. From the time he held the bottle, he had to practice. This wife was deceived by strength. Inside Ling Qingqing, she was trying to convince herself that the great emperor husband should be content. That's right, she has no way to run, so accept it. Do you have a family? In this life, her family was broken up. Chen Fan was caught off guard by the sudden words. Yes. You are welcome to go home anytime you want. In addition, do you know why you practice so fast? You can. Cheating. Ling Qingqing suddenly became more interested, her eyes were burning, yearning, and looking forward to it. The elders in the distance were puzzled. Who knows what they are talking about? The disciples dared not to speak. There was one person who was excited loudly, that was Chen Xuandao. Chen Fan. This young master. I never expected that the young master would come to recruit people in person. Moreover, he has already reached the realm of emperor. The gods and saints were helpless. For a moment, he accepted it and was unbelievable. Okay, I have to stay alive and see the situation. Beidazu, the city with the words Chen family written on it, many powerful people gathered, their eyes were fiery. The power core came from here. P.S. Please urge for updates, reward, and support. Chapter 13, Guarding the Home for Master. If you don't agree, hit me. Tricking the Empress Master to. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 13, Guarding the House for Master. If you don't obey, I'll beat you. Deceive the Empress Master to go home with. Such a strong spiritual power. If you can practice here, you will get twice the result with half the effort. My cultivation level has become loose. Hiss. Is it possible that there is an imperial crystal vein underground here? I don't know. But the richness of this level must be higher than the Saint Crystal vein, that the strong men who were watching looked at the siege and were very excited. Although drinking soup is good, eating meat is more delicious. If you can take it for yourself, it will definitely be a matter of honor for your ancestors, even if it was taken by any means necessary. After all, this place looks quite weak, and many people have never heard of such a small place. Moreover, this place is obviously a city, but it has the words Chen family written on it. Chen family, which Chen family? Taoist Ji Yuan, the elder of Tianfu's sect who came to investigate, asked the person next to him. A young man nearby who knew about it smiled and said, Elder Ji Yuan, what you don't know is that there is only one Chen family in Langyue City, and it should be that one. And a few days ago, there seemed to be chaos in Langyue City. The Chen family took control of Langyue City and changed its name. Tianfu's sect is a powerful sect in Baidi Prefecture, and Taoist Ji Yuan is a saintly expert, so how can others dare to offend him? Taoist Ji Yuan frowned. Another young man reminded, this brother has said it before. Which Chen family is that Chen family? How could Tianfu's sect be so different from just a Chen family? It is reasonable for Elder Ji Yuan not to know. Then he smiled apologetically and said, Elder Ji Yuan, this Chen family is not worth mentioning to Tianfu's sect. Elder Ji Yuan heard this and ignored the two of them. However, it seems that many people know about the Chen family in Tianyuan territory, and they must be somewhat famous. Huh, old man Ji Yuan, I didn't expect you to come one step earlier than me. Void laughed, and an old man soon appeared. It seems that Tianfu's sect is also interested in this place. Everyone heard the sound and looked over, seeing another holy realm Neng. When the top powerful forces appear, ordinary small forces can only join in the fun first. Taoist Ji Yuan looked at the people coming above his head. Sage Wugui, aren't your Tianluo sect here too? Tianluoman is also one of the top forces in Baidi State. Baidi Prefecture has hundreds of Dao domains. Except for the uninhabited Tao domains, the top Dao domains can all support a strong force. At this time, a burst of sound suddenly came from the space. Under the beautiful melody, everyone was almost subconscious. Taoist Ji Yuan and Saint Wuhui quickly resisted. At the same time, I saw a pavilion rotating in front of me, like a glazed tower. His expression changed slightly. It's her. Soon, a figure appeared in front of the building. Sage Wugui said, the Lord of Phantom Sound is here. It's really lively today. Huanin Tower, a holy power, located in the Tianyindao domain. It is named because the headquarters is in the shape of a huge pavilion comparable to a city. They are truly magical and weird, and among them, they are all female, good at the art of sound and illusion. The strange changes in Beidazu, Huanyin Tower, I am naturally interested in it. The master of Huanin wore a green gauze to cover his face, looking ethereal and mysterious. A voice as sweet as nature came out, and the strong man in the holy realm was lost on the spot. Taoist Ji Yuan did not want to waste time. Since you are all here, why not dig out this secret together? Before, they thought there was a strong person here and had been waiting vigilantly. However, after a long time passed without any movement, they finally made up their mind. What Taoist Master Ji Yuan said is absolutely true, and Tianluo sect is willing to accompany him, said the sage Wugui. If this continues, I don't know how many people will come to take a share of the pie, and something might happen. Moreover, it is very likely that there is a strong person here. If you deal with it alone, It is always better than taking the blame with the whole family, and there is no room for maneuver. Whether you can hold the treasure or not is what determines everything. The Lord of Phantom Sound seemed to hesitate, but still nodded. So, very good. It seems that no Emperor-level forces have been attracted yet. We can't delay it any longer. He who is closest to you will get the truth, soon. The strong men tried to break into the city. Other forces, including those in the Tao Palace realm and the Tribulation Transcending realm, were looking for leaks from all sides. There is no way, they are nothing in front of the saint. However, as soon as they approached the Chen family, a protective formation appeared faintly. Taoist Ji Yuan's face condensed slightly. It's a formation. This formation is extraordinary. I wonder who set it up. Could it be that he is from the Chen family? Saint Wugue said. No matter what, let's break the formation together. Now that I'm here, I have to try it. You must know how to share good things, otherwise you will not be willing to accept them. It is impossible for the Chen family to be a powerful person in the Emperor realm, so there is no need to be afraid. The strong men reached a consensus and broke the formation. However, after repeated bombings, it was discovered that Mao didn't even move in this formation. What formation is so hard? Could it be the Emperor's fault? This thought made everyone a little scared. Otherwise, there is no reason, and even several powerful men in the Holy Realm cannot break it. It was also at this time that several figures appeared on the top of the city. Chen Luoyu looked at the countless powerful men below with a slightly uncomfortable expression, trembling in her heart. They are all powerful people with big heads and faces. In the past, she was not even qualified to speak, and she did not dare to look directly, but it's different now. They are responsible for guarding the house. Who is attacking the Chen family? Leave quickly. Don't panic, there's Fanner standing behind you. In addition to Bai Fengyao, Si Fu and Chen Tianya were also quite nervous. They had never seen such a world. Fortunately, the formation left by the ancestors was strong enough. I heard that those old guys in the Saint realm would never take it seriously. Girl, open the city gate to welcome them, otherwise, you will bear the consequences. He smiled disdainfully. It turned out that they were just a few ants. This also made them more curious. There must be a secret. Bai Fengyao pinched her waist with both hands in dissatisfaction. You are plotting, and you still want us to open the city gate? Leave quickly, otherwise you will all die when Master comes back. She was born in an Emperor-level force. Even if she faced a strong man, her knowledge was here, and she was not afraid of anyone. Come and fight if you have the ability, you can fight. Hearing this, everyone was really scared. A few ants were not taken seriously at all, but this master sounded very awesome. Taoist Ji Yuan held back and said in a deep voice, I don't know who your master is, it's always right to be careful. Bai Fengyao was arrogant. Master Chen Fan, the ancestor of the Chen family, is a martial emperor. The master is the person she admires the most. Just because he was rejected, he is still so powerful. Puff. However, the people below the city laughed. I thought it was awesome, but I didn't expect it was just bragging. There are only a handful of powerful martial emperors. How come you haven't heard of them? The people who knew about it almost laughed to death. A middle-aged man who often travels to Langya City said, Everyone, the Chen family is in decline and has long been disbanded. 100 years ago, there were no strong people in the fusion realm, let alone the emperor. And this Chen Fan is said to be just a little boy, only in his early teens, and is the head of the Chen family. That's right. This person is right. He is also a cultivator nearby. I just don't know what happened in Langya City that allowed the Chen family to occupy it. The man quickly agreed. Upon hearing this, everyone's face was extremely gloomy. Little girl, you are talking nonsense and playing with me, aren't you afraid of death? Jiyuan Taoist shouted, I was almost scared, it was a shame. A mere ant family, there is no one in the fusion realm. And the emperor? This is not pretending to be a pig to eat the tiger, this is a real pig, it can't even scare people. How could a Saint Realm Master retreat one step? Taking a step back is disrespectful to oneself. Bai Fengyao was furious, they actually dared to laugh at the master. How could this be so? Uncle can tolerate it, but Aunt can't tolerate it. Be patient, you are guarding the house for the master. Then he smiled with his teeth. If you don't obey, beat me. It can be said that he has extreme trust in the master. Chen Luoyu supported her forehead, and it turned out to be the root of the trouble, the little ancestor. She couldn't refute it. Sifu and Chen Tianya raised their thumbs. It has to be you, this family now can't do without you, the old ancestor. Puff. Insolent. Everyone was furious and couldn't bear it anymore. Cursing, it was also at this time that people from Luoyun sect came. Yunlan brought Su Chuanhua, however, she came to see Chen Fan in person. Seeing this, he didn't mean to stop it, there was no need to create an enemy for himself. After all, to a certain extent, his brother and Chen Fan had nothing to do with each other. At the same time, Yuehua also came. Shinto Holy Land, in the Saints' Hall, Chen Fan and Ling Qingqing were together. The strong men in the Shinto Holy Land dared not say anything, the space was left to them, and they didn't dare to stop a virgin emperor from flirting with girls. He just wanted to be happy, but he wanted to cry but had no tears, but being able to befriend a virgin emperor seemed to sound good. Ling Qingqing tried hard to accept everything she knew now, asked, "What's so special about that family that can make you stronger? That must catch up with the virgin husband." Chen Fan thought for a moment and said, "Nothing special, just lacking a hostess." Ling Qingqing's heart was turbulent, her breathing was up and down, and she felt that she was hit by the dimensionality reduction of the emperor. He flirted with her, but she couldn't complain that he didn't say anything. It seems that the emperor is very anxious. "Well, I'll go home with you." Chapter 14 Qiankun Daoyu, the Shen family also has an undercover agent, Chen Xuandao. I was injured. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 14 In the Qiankun Dao domain, the Shen family is also undercover. Chen Xuandao, I was injured by a teammate. Chen Fan heard this and smiled. The master is not as strong as him now. What's more, the master was the Empress Xuanji in her previous life, and she was also a powerful person with a very strong personality. As long as he cheats a little bit, it's perfectly reasonable to go home with him. Why are you laughing? Ling Qingqing glanced at Chen Fan. It's very easy for me to decide. It's nothing, I just thought of something interesting. Chen Fan continued, in that case, let's go home, Qingqing. The next step is to trick the baby into giving birth. Disciple, what bad thoughts do you have? Interesting thing. Ling Qingqing thought, then he said, okay. But, before I had time to discuss it with Master, she went to Beidazu. She said this, but she thought that the master was stopping the emperor's husband. Chen Fan hummed, that's cool, our home is also in Baidi province. Baidizhou. Ling Qingqing murmured. Master went to Beidazu to investigate the situation. We should encounter him. Think so. Afterwards, the two stood up and prepared to leave the Shinto saint. Now, outside the Shinto saint, a group of people came. The young man leading the group had an angry look on his face. Get out of the way, I want to see Qingqing, that he is the master of the Shen family in Fengyao Qiankun Dao domain, and his name is Shen Jinlin. Are the golden scales of the things in the pond? Behind him, he also brought the family ancestor to control the situation, because he unexpectedly learned that another man was approaching the woman he was interested in, and after a few words, he walked right to her door. I don't know exactly what happened. Outside the Shinto saint, Chen Xuandao on duty stood in front of him, his brows furrowed. After thinking about my grandpa, I felt slightly relieved. I have met the ancestor of the Shen family. Then he continued, Master Shen, it is convenient for Saint Lady to see outsiders, so please go back first. The Shen family is huge and has countless powerful people. It is second only to the Huanggu family in the Huanggu continent. Moreover, the Shen Chamber of Commerce is spread all over the mainland and has strong financial resources. Even a Shinto saint is willing to offend. The master of the Shen family has always liked the saint, and the Shen family is also willing to bring the two powers into marriage. However, the saint has a cold nature and is indifferent to this. Not to mention that there are too many variables now. As the ancestor of the Chen family, he must be facing his own grandfather. After all, he looked meaningfully at an old man following behind the Shen family. Meeting outsiders? Shen Jinlin snorted coldly, not taking Chen Xuandao seriously at all. A mere outer sect elder dares to stop me from waiting. On the day, I must see Qingqing. At the same time, he reminded with a side face, Ancestor, we are in trouble. Even if you break in, you have to break in. Even if an elder is injured, the Shen family will keep him in check, let alone the Shinto Saint Kei offending their Shen family for the sake of an outer sect elder. The ancestor of the Shen family beside him suddenly felt a pressure. In the mere combined state, even the elders, in his eyes, are more than ants, who can be destroyed with just one hand. Chen Xuandao's expression changed instantly and he was unable to move, asked, the Shen family respects our Shinto holy rules and wants to provoke. The face is red and the heart is beating, because the old man he just looked at is also a teammate. But I didn't expect that Shen Jinlin would even bring the family ancestor this time. Shen Jinlin snorted coldly, I just came to visit the saint, but I was blocked. Elder Chen, I'm going to put all the blame on Master. The ancestor of the Shen family didn't say much because he just came to town. Looking at the old man next to him, he smiled and said, Master, don't be angry, don't hurt your harmony, let me negotiate. His real name is Chen Wankai. He is one of the ancestors of the Chen family. He came to the Shen family to work undercover because he wanted to make money, because resources and wealth are also indispensable for cultivating strong people. Shen Jinlin also knew that he could take action, but if he broke in forcefully, the quality would change. As a last resort, he wanted to have a conflict with the Shinto saint, which would affect his relationship with Ling Qingqing. Shen Wankai then looked at Chen Xuandao, Elder Chen, my husband has no intention of provoking, he just cares about the saint. Please let us in and meet the saint. Kindly advise. He finally got into the Shen family and became a hall master. He was given a surname and was in charge of a branch of the Shen Chamber of Commerce. Now, it's time to behave well. As for Chen Xuandao, I'm sorry, he had no choice at this time. Chen Xuandao's mind was buzzing, and he wanted to wink at his teammates, but under the eyes of the ancestor of the Shen family, he had no right to jump back and forth. Ignoring his teammates, he said, Master Shen, the saint has to say this right now, otherwise, you will be responsible for the consequences. Oh shit, I feel aggrieved and want to go home. Wait until the assistant poaches the saint, and then we'll show off. It's done. Ha! Shen Wankai suddenly lost his smile. He is also the ancestor of the Chen family. He has given me this face and asked me how to behave. Elder Chen, you are not qualified to talk to my grandfather. Boom, he casually knocked Chen Xuandao away. In his opinion, they are all borrowed. What consequences should you bear at your own risk? The Shen family can afford it. You. Chen Xuandao was shocked, his teammate actually hurt his teammate. My heart sank, my teammates must be worried about this. What are you doing? Shen Wankai said, I call you, the Supreme Elder, to speak. He now represents the face of the Shen family. The elders of the inner sect are all good, because there is an ancestor of the Shen family. A strong man in the holy realm, the ancestor of the Shen family was speechless, but what Shen Wankai said was reasonable. Chen Xuandao couldn't believe it. My teammates hurt me 1,000 times. He gritted his teeth and said, the Supreme Elder is entertaining the distinguished guests. He was indeed guarding Chen Fan, his master. Moreover, he was now an outer sect elder, and he didn't dare to say much. Otherwise, if he offended the emperor's power, the old guys in the Shinto saint would not let him go, because it would be embarrassing if it got out. He couldn't remind his teammates that the master was already the emperor. Of course, he himself was willing to embarrass the saint. Shen Jinlin couldn't bear it a little, and looked anxiously inside the Shinto saint. What distinguished guest, more expensive than my Shen family? He didn't want to waste time. Master, please. The ancestor of the Shen family reminded him at the right time. It was his responsibility. Shen Jinlin responded immediately, it must be vulgar to let the Supreme Elder entertain. He was immediately refreshed. Could it be this person who dares to think about Qingqing? Could it be that the other party also brought a Saint Realm strongman? How can this be possible? Shen Wankai said, Master, even if the other party is valued by the Holy Dao Saint, he may not be as good as you. Chen Xuandao laughed so hard, you are afraid that you want to die. What the hell should I remind? Don't dare to say it, Shen Jinlin was immediately excited when he heard it. No matter what, I must see Qingqing this day, that he wanted to break in directly, but he was on pins and needles after taking care of so many things. At this time, a voice came. Who is it, shouting in front of my saint realm? It turned out to be the ancestor of the Shen family. The Supreme Elder appeared, and he was a little happy. As for Shen Jinlin, of course he didn't take him seriously. He was Chen Fan, and without a family background, he was nothing. However, Chen Fan was in their Shinto saint now. The ancestor of the Shen family looked over and saw that the entire Shinto saints' great ancestors were slowly approaching, all accompanied by a young man, and a saint. Suddenly felt strange, intuitive. I thought there was only one great elder, but I didn't expect it was all of them. Politely said, Great Elder, Your Highness, you are accompanying me to see the saint. The experienced eyes tried to detect clues and spy on Chen Fan, because Chen Fan was too young. He should be the master or the proud brother of some powerful family. Then his face changed drastically. Chen Xuandao breathed a sigh of relief, but he was not in a good mood, and he felt very uncomfortable. When Shen Jinlin saw Ling Qingqing, he didn't care about anything else. Qingqing. When he saw Chen Fan next to him, fuck, so close. Relying on the presence of the ancestor, he was not afraid at all. It's you who coveted the woman I, Shen Jinlin, have set my eyes on. That the energy poured out of his body, and he was a rare and peerless genius in the god transformation realm. Master. The ancestor of the Shen family reminded him quickly, and then he groaned and vomited blood. He felt that his soul was about to break. How could it be? Even the Supreme Elder of the Holy Way could not cause such harm to him. And now, after just spying for a year, unfortunately, it was too late. Shen Jinlin only looked at Ling Qingqing and didn't notice that he had been severely injured in an instant. I only heard, Qingqing's name is also yours. Like the sound of the devil in hell, immediately afterwards, Shen Jinlin's body floated up in the air uncontrollably. Unbelievable, why didn't he have the strength to resist at all? The other party didn't bring a Saint Realm strongman to protect him. You let me go, you know, my father is. His teeth were clenched, the pain was unbearable. Let go of my master. Xuanhuan was scared, but the master's words were clear. He had to remind the other party, and Ling Qingqing stood beside Chen Fan very obediently, looking at each other coldly. The Supreme Elder knew that the ancestor of the Shen family had been severely injured by Chen Fan. Hissing, he quickly reminded, Emperor, they are from Qiankun Daoyu, the Shen family. Then what? Chapter 15, Eradication and Household Affairs. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chen Fan didn't care, but the Shen family was somewhat famous throughout the continent because of its wealth. Then, he turned his head to look at Ling Qingqing, and Ling Qingqing looked at him innocently. Chen Fan knew what was going on. The Great Elder was speechless, and looked at the other elders. That's right, the Holy Land of Shinto was afraid of the Shen family. How could the Emperor take them seriously? Emperor. The Shen family ancestor's heart was filled with 10,000 alpacas running past. You tell me he is the Emperor? He quickly came out. I have seen the Emperor, please forgive my master for his disrespect. Even if he didn't want to believe it, it was the reality happening in front of him. No wonder these old guys from the Holy Land of Shinto came out to accompany him in person. Hearing this, Shen Jinlin turned his head with difficulty to look at the Shen family ancestor. A powerful man in the Holy Realm actually vomited blood and crawled on his stomach. A storm was set off in his heart. The opponent really didn't bring any Saint Realm strongmen, and he himself is an emperor. How could it be possible? Thinking about being caught, he suddenly felt as if he had fallen into the abyss. Xuanhuan didn't care about marrying Shen Jinlin. Looking at Chen Fan, why did he feel a little familiar? Chen Fan said lightly, forgive. The Lord is not an unreasonable person, but before killing you, I want to remind you that disaster comes from you. Suddenly, everyone present felt like they were in an ice cellar, and they were terrified. At this time, Chen Xuandao trembled with courage and quickly stood up. The Supreme Elders were so nervous that they almost peed themselves. They responded very quickly, and directly suppressed Chen Xuandao, who had just taken a step, and pressed him in place. For fear that the subordinates would offend the Emperor's power, no one was allowed to say a word at this time. Chen Xuandao was in great pain and looked at Chen Fan. Master, I am Chen Xuandao, and I request to return to the clan, that if I don't say it, there will be no chance. Master wants to kill someone, so what about Chen Huankai? Master should be informed and deal with it. It is not appropriate at this time, and I must stand up and remind him. At most, I will not be an undercover agent. When this was said, it was quite sudden and inconsistent with the atmosphere. Everyone looked at Chen Xuandao, with a big question mark in their hearts. Chen Fan was caught off guard, and the probability of being an undercover agent was extremely terrifying. Are you, the ancestor of the Chen family, that he now knows the name of this elder of the sect, Chen Xuandao? It is on the Chen family tree. Yes. Chen Xuandao said. Then follow me back to the Chen family. I believe you have no objection, right? Chen Fan was still happy, and it was not bad to take an ancestor back. The supreme elders of the Shinto Holy Land were all confused, caught off guard, and quite depressed. This Emperor, how dare we? Whatever you say is what it is. But there are Chen family members under my nose. This is possible. I dare not say anything, I can only admit it. Chen Xuandao smiled directly. Yes, Master. Now I can't treat Master as a junior, I don't dare. Chen Huankai heard the words, Master. Emperor. The root can't be connected. His expression changed drastically, and he didn't care about Shen Jinlin. Master, I am the ancestor of the Chen family. Chen Huankai, request to return to the clan. That his mind turned quickly, he didn't know what happened, but following Chen Xuandao, it must be right. Moreover, looking at Chen Fan's appearance, it seems that he is somewhat similar to the head of their Chen family. Shen Jinlin and the ancestor of the Shen family even forgot their situation at this time, and forgot that Chen Fan threatened to kill them. There is a Chen family ancestor in the Shinto Holy Land. Their Shen family also has it. Then which Chen family is this Chen family, and who is this Chen family master? It turned out to be an emperor. Facing Shen Huansai's betrayal, they were furious and didn't dare to interrupt casually. Chen Fan smiled. Chen Huankai. The probability of undercover can be raised. Then you, come back to the Chen family with me. Ling Qingcheng, who was silent beside him, began to wonder what their home looked like. Silence, extremely silent. The old guy in the Shinto Holy Land was suddenly relieved. It turned out that the Shen family also had it. Chen Huankai breathed a sigh of relief. Yes, Master. He saved his life, otherwise he would have died if he didn't stand up. The Shen family was so angry that they vomited 3 liters of blood. However, at this time, Chen Xuandao hurriedly reminded. Master, Chen Huankai has betrayed my Chen family, that there is anger in my heart, and it is not pleasant if I don't say it out. Chen Xuandao, don't spit blood. What evidence do you have? Chen Huankai couldn't bear it directly. Inwardly, he cursed Chen Xuandao for not being martial. Everyone was confused again, and there were still variables. Master, I am loyal to the Chen family. This move is really helpless. Chen Huankai defended, but his heart was trembling and guilty. Under his pupils, Chen Fan looked at the two meaningfully, and immediately killed Chen Huankai. Chen Huansai's face was horrified, and then he turned into ashes. He didn't know until his death that Chen Xuandao could do it. Why couldn't he? Everyone's heart was tight, and their eyelids were twitching. Although an ant died, it was cruel enough to kill his own family without asking anything. Chen Xuandao didn't expect that Master would be so decisive. Is it just trust in him? It shouldn't be. He and Chen Huankai had met Master for the first time in many years. Master, deal with some family affairs. Chen Fan then looked at the Shen family. Remember, disaster comes from the body. Don't want to waste time. Don't, kill me. Shen Jinlin was completely scared. This young-looking emperor is a ruthless person, but he knew he shouldn't have said that. Ancestor Shen's eyes were round, but he was suppressed by the emperor's power. The gap was like a chasm, and he could not stop it at all. He could not even say the words of begging for mercy at this time. In an instant, the two followed Chen Huankai directly. After killing several people, Chen Fan said, "Okay, let's go." The elders of the Shinto Holy Land dared not breathe. farewell to the emperor. Fortunately, they were not as miserable as the Shen family, but this time, it seems to be changing. Master, wait a moment. Chen Xuandao did not have time to explain, and hurried back to call the disciples he had recruited over the years, beat them and take them away. After a while, a group of people appeared. When they saw Chen Fan, they immediately knelt down according to the master's instructions. Greetings to the emperor. Many disciples were extremely excited. It was wonderful. They were fine, and suddenly upgraded. From the disciples of the saint-level forces, they were promoted to the emperor level. We are willing to follow the emperor and go to the Chen family. Show determination and will. Everyone in the Shinto Holy Land was shocked. He opened his mouth but didn't say anything. Ling Qingqing was silent again, always developing unexpectedly. Master, this is my disciple who I have cultivated for many years. Chen Xuandao reminded without blushing. Chen Fan hummed, okay. Many elders in the Shinto Holy Land looked at the back of the departing figure. They were stunned. It was also a long time afterwards that the mainland forces would panic when they heard about the Chen family, not only because of Master, the great emperor of the Chen family. There are also many fierce undercover bandits. Why don't you go and rob them? At the same time, the Shen family in Qiankun Daoyu was furious, and the life tablet of Master He, one of the ancestors of the Shen family, was broken. Beidazu, Master Yuanyu, Chen family. Many powerful forces were completely angered by Bai Fengyao. Taking a step back, the more you think about it, the angrier you get. Because they are also well-known figures, how can they tolerate it? No matter how they attack, they can never break the Chen family's formation. During the intermission, Jiu and Taoist looked at Yunlan. Master Luo Yun, is it possible that Luo Yun sect is not interested in this place? It must be because they don't have enough manpower. As a saint, Yunlan is much stronger than them. Wu Hui's saint also thought so. Looking at Yunlan, who didn't make any movement when she arrived, Yunlan said, "We, Luo Yun sect, come to see the emperor without any intention of offending." Just kidding, she still trusts the disciples, because all the signs show that they are unusual. Everyone frowned. Is it true? Then he looked at Yuehua on the side, the holy land of Fengzhou Shindao, and stretched his hand far enough. When he was ready to speak, a terrifying sense of oppression came out of nowhere. Everyone was shocked. The Emperor Realm Powerhouse. My fellow Taoists, a mere city, let Taihuang Holy Land take it down in no time. That the first Holy Land of Baidi State, the Emperor Realm Powerhouse of the Emperor-level force appeared. The voice was extremely deep, like thunder. Chapter 16 Taihuang Emperor. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Emperor Taihuang. Everyone who looked at the figure coming from the void was frightened. The weak monk was so frightened that he did not dare to look up. Moreover, although the saint is powerful, he is completely incompetent in front of an emperor-level powerhouse. This is a qualitative leap, nothing comparable. Just now we were doubting whether what Yunlan said was true or false. After all, Yunlan's words still carry some weight, but at this moment, the emperor has appeared. Even if what Yunlan said is true, so what? They opened one after another. I've seen Emperor Taihuang. The only pity is that I don't know if I can miss it. Emperor Taihuang arrived in person, and his words explained everything. They were just picking up the heads on their own necks. Yunlan's face also changed slightly. She had known that Taihuang Holy Land might come, but she didn't expect that Taihuang Emperor would come in person. This is out of control, because even if Chen Fan is the great emperor, he cannot avoid the conflict between gods and gods, which will affect Qiyu. No matter what we choose, it may not be right. There is no need to stay here, so there is no need to choose. Xuanhuan, let's leave. A reminder. Su Xuanhuan nodded, knowing that our situation was special. Emperor Taihuang's expression was filled with heat. He paid no attention to the people, but looked at the land in front of him. Such a strong power, it must be the imperial crystal vein. Moreover, it is huge in scale. The holy crystal veins are located in the Holy Land, and they are quite large, but this power is obviously infinitely stronger than the Saint Crystal Vein. The reason why I came here in person is because the Emperor Crystal Veins are something that most Emperor-level forces only dream of getting. It can make the Holy Land and luck last for endless years, give birth to more powerful people and become a more top-level imperial force. Who cannot be moved? If you must get it, then the trip will be worthwhile. Emperor Taihuang was ready to take action directly. Taoist Ji Yuan quickly reminded, Emperor Taihuang, I am brave, here is a powerful formation. So what about the formation? Just break it. Emperor Taihuang didn't care. The Wuhui saint next to him said, Taihuang Emperor, Sect Master Luo Yun said that this formation was arranged by a great emperor. Upon hearing this, Emperor Taihuang noticed that Yunlan wanted to leave. Sect Master Luo Yun, do you think this is a great emperor's place of defense, that he was just a sect leader, but he didn't take it seriously? But it is extraordinary when it concerns the emperor, but has never heard of such a powerful emperor in Bai Fengyao. Yunlan's heart skipped a beat and she didn't dare to pull her brother away directly. He turned around and said, Emperor Taihuang, this place is extraordinary. This is just a guess, not confirmed. After all, she didn't see it with her own eyes, and she didn't dare to speak arrogantly at this moment and anger the powerful emperor. Epic Taoist Master Wuhui sage felt that Yunlan was really thoughtful and exquisite. I suspect she is here to cause trouble. Throwing out fog, Emperor Taihuang immediately became cold. Wouldn't it be destroying one's prestige by making random guesses without confirmation? As for the seat, one must speculate. Does the Luo Yun sect want to occupy it alone? Yunlan immediately groaned. Master. Su Chuanyue hurriedly helped her. Yunlan didn't care. Chuanyue, let's go. The situation is not good for them. The main reason is that they did not come here for the power from the beginning. There is no need to put yourself at risk at this time. The master and apprentice left quickly. On the other side, the Lord of Sound looked at Fang Yuehua next to him. Moon Painting Saint King, you are not interested in joining forces together. As the owner of the Sound Tower, she is much better than the Taoist of the era, the Wuhui saint. Probably the difference between the first and later stages. Fang Yu painted her quite well. Before Fang Yuehua had time to respond, he heard the voice of Emperor Taihuang. Fengyao Shinto Holy Land has reached out so far. Do you think there is no one in Beidazhou? Fang Yueshio's face slightly condensed. Emperor Taihuang, I don't dare. She is a holy king, but facing the strongest man in Beidazhou, she has no temper at all. Then I looked at the Lord of Sound. The Lord of Sound can also let go of his mind and watch the changes. Subsequently, after mentioning some people, Emperor Taihuang looked at the city again. Chen family, Q. I have never heard of such a small family. The main Taihuang Dao domain is also extremely far away from here. I don't know why such a small family can control the emperor's crystal veins. But is determined to win, then take action directly. The endless imperial power poured out. On the top of the city, Chen Luoyu and others looked unhappy. Emperor Taihuang. The fear in his heart couldn't stop. The gap is really too huge, enough to make people despair, and it is an enemy emperor. Even if it is protected by a formation, it is extremely terrifying to feel it at such a close distance. The emperor is here. This matter is big. Without Chen Fan here, everyone is at a loss as to whether they can keep their home. Bai Fengyao always wants to be different. Emperor Taihuang, Master is not at home. Why don't you come back when Master comes back? Of course, she didn't dare to be too arrogant, and her tone was much more restrained and sensible. When everyone hears it, you have to come. Little girl, I don't have time. Emperor Taihuang smiled. It's true that a young calf is not afraid of tigers and dares to speak like this. I am not kidding. When Jiuan Taoist saw that it was Bai Fengyao, he immediately got angry. Emperor Taihuang, this girl's master is the owner here, but a teenager in his early 20s. Thinking about being frightened by a little girl before, he felt very unhappy. That's right, the master who frightened you is an emperor. Saint Wuhui quickly added. Emperor Taihuang was really stunned for a moment. An emperor in his early 20s? What about these 200,000 years? Scanning the crowd, he found that they all nodded and agreed. Jiuan Taoist said that Saint Wuhui would not dare to deceive you. Then thinking about Yunlan, he felt even more unhappy. A sect leader also came to fool people casually and almost frightened everyone. She ran fast. Now, a mere girl can't do this. His face sank slightly. Emperor Taihuang palm. Directly attack. The emperor's palm print covered the world. The space was dark. The huge phantom was unstoppable, and the emperor's power was infinite. Under the terrifying pressure, even saints could retreat. Boom, the array shield surged, making a huge roar and collision. Hiss, it can still be blocked. what kind of array is this? It's so terrifying. Everyone was shocked and exclaimed, this is too hard, the emperor didn't break it in one go. Chen Luoyu and others were relieved, the ancestors' products are trustworthy. It can really stop the emperor. Bai Fengyao's face was serious, and he must guard the house for his master, and he only needed to stand here and watch, and the Taihuang emperor didn't break the array in one attack, and his face was a little ugly. Let's not talk about whether the emperor in his early 20s is real or not, anyway, I don't believe it. But this array must be of emperor-level quality. Unbelievable, but even if the other party is the emperor, what? Such a small place cannot protect resources. Attack again. The energy of the formation must be consumed, and it is unbreakable. However, after several times, the Great Emperor Taihuang suspected people. Because this formation did not seem to be consumed at all. Is this formation powered by the Emperor Crystal Vein? All formations require power transmission. Calling him a loser, this is extremely disrespectful to the Emperor Crystal Vein. Not far away, the Lord of the Sound sighed. Who is the head of the Chen family? It is really curious. Maybe, it's too mysterious. Fang Yuehua said here, and suddenly her heart skipped a beat. Chen family? Chen Fan, could it be? Fellow Taoists, help me. The great Emperor Taihuang did not want to seek help from others, but for the Emperor Crystal Vein, he had no choice. If you can get it, it's still worth it. The Taoist of the era, the Saint Wuhui, joined without saying a word. The Lord of Sound and Fang Yuehua looked at each other and were also pulled up to avoid trouble from the great Emperor Taihuang. Boom boom, soon, it was time for another break. The great Emperor Taihuang began to doubt people. Was he the great emperor? Why would there be such a hard formation? She roared in her heart. Fang Yuehua shook her head. It shouldn't be possible. How could it be possible? Saint King Yuehua, what's impossible? The Lord of Sound next to him asked. Yes, what's impossible? Chen Fan appeared quietly beside the two of them, watching his crystal being stolen, but unfortunately he was disturbed. There was no ripple in his heart, and he even wanted to see the excitement. He was aware of the movement and came first. Chapter 17 Bai Fengyao, Master is a sixth-rate person. Mission reward, 3,000 puppets in the. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 17 Bai Fengyao, Master is a sixth-class man. Mission reward, 3 puppets of the tribulation realm. Chen Xiao, who appeared like a ghost, was noticed and interrupted directly. Fang Yuehua and the Lord of the Sound were caught off guard, their hearts tightened, and they subconsciously distanced themselves, and then looked over together. They were moved. It must be as powerful as them to be so silent. It's you. Fang Yuehua suddenly realized that she had seen this face before, on the border between Beidazhou and Fenzhou. The Lord of the Sound was a little wary and alert of Chen Xiao, and now she was slightly relieved. They recognized him. However, it seems that this boy is too young, and his strength, she couldn't figure it out. Chen Xiao said, what a coincidence, it's you, so you are the Holy King of the Holy Land of Shinto. Under the ancient double pupils, even if Fang Yuehua had hidden her aura before, he could see it clearly. Not to mention the suppression of cultivation, Fang Yuehua was almost a transparent person in front of him. However, it was from the words of the woman next to him that Fang Yuehua's name was the master of his wife who had deceived him to come. Yuehua Saint King. Seeing that Chen had no hostility, Fang Yuehua let down his guard. Sir, are you interested in this place? Guessing that Chen should be young, about a few years old, but such a young Saint Realm strongman is enough to be terrifying. Chen. That's your home. Who would be interested if you're not interested? Oh, you are all interested. Then he nodded. Indeed, this place is not bad. Slightly commented. By the way, Yuehua Saint King, what did you just say is impossible? That I didn't expect that. I went to steal your home, and you actually came to steal your home. Due to Ling Qingqing's relationship, it's even. I'm sorry to make you laugh. Fang Yuehua didn't dare to look down on Chen Yu. It's just that I'm thinking about something in this situation. In fact, she wanted to say, what does it have to do with you? But it seems that Chen Yu deliberately approached her. That's the feeling. a little strange, Chen Yu nodded. Well, I know. He should be able to guess what Fang Yuehua is thinking. But when he went to the Shinto Holy Land, he didn't even enter the gate, so naturally he had never seen Fang Yuehua, but as a core powerhouse, she would have heard something, diamond suit, diamond suit, diamond suit, what do you know? Fang Yuehua was confused, the Lord of the Sound next to him was silent for a while. What are you talking about? And at this moment, the Great Emperor Taihuang was ready to go, unwilling to give up. Must take it down. Everyone, help again. This formation can't last long. The more difficult it is to attack, the more he feels that there is a secret here. And it's a big secret. As the peak group, how can they give up easily? Jiuan Taoist and Wuhui Saint were scared and tired. Wow, I never thought that they had so many strong people, but they couldn't break the formation for several days, vomiting blood, on the top of the city. Bai Fengyao began to get impatient. Emperor Taihuang, you are the goddess of the ancient Phoenix clan. Give you a face and retreat quickly. To guard the house, you must have the attitude of guarding the house. Chen Luoyu immediately held his forehead. This family really can't do without you. Chen Tianya and Si Fuxiao thought so. Puff, hearing this, everyone laughed silly. Little girl, do you think you will still believe what you say? Jiuan Taoist sneered, this girl, she looks cute, but she shouldn't have a mouth, she is so cunning, she will fool people. She still wants to fool them at this time. If you are the goddess of the ancient Phoenix clan, then you are still the heavenly priest of the ancient Dragon clan. Saint Wuhui laughed without any regret. Mainly because he was very angry with this little girl, but he couldn't do anything to her. Everyone laughed. Would the ancient Phoenix clan come to such a small place? It's no less than the emperor going to the countryside. Is it possible? Is it reasonable? Emperor Taihuang felt that he was played by a little girl. He was furious, looking for death. A murderous intent burst out. His patience was gradually worn out, and his temper became impatient. It was purely a bad start, and he was blocked by others. Bai Fengyao was so angry that she was smoking. Why didn't anyone believe it? Every word was true. Humph, immediately, he was unwilling to accept the ancient phoenix blood. He flew into the air, wrapped in the blood of the gods, and the 9 phoenix phantoms around him were entangled and circling. It was just a white, mutated ancient phoenix. Ancient Phoenix clan. White Phoenix. Emperor Taihuang was stunned. What she said was true. The people below were speechless. It turns out that he is actually an ancient Phoenix clan member. It's strange. How could the ancient Phoenix clan have such a member? And he went to a small place like this to become a disciple. Bai Fengyao was complacent. See. What he said is true, that this family must be defended. Chen Yu looked at his own disciples silently. He had revealed his trump cards and backgrounds. However, this white phoenix bloodline has something. Of course, he was waiting for an opportunity. Suddenly, ding, triggering a hidden task, deterring the villains, and maintaining the family's face. Completion reward, a puppet of the 3-level calamity realm. To be honest, Chen Yu really didn't expect that what he was waiting for was a system task, that was the 3-level calamity realm, enough to sweep away any force below the saint level. Fang Yuehua and the Lord of Sound were shocked. This place is getting more and more mysterious. So what? Taihuang Emperor couldn't deny that the ancient Phoenix clan had a great reputation. But they were both imperial forces, so even if they were inferior, they couldn't lose face, not to mention that she was just a goddess, not those old guys, so they just had to not hurt her. As long as we get the Emperor's crystal vein, everything is worth it. The Great Wasteland Holy Land may not be unable to follow the status of the ancient family and the ancient clan. Just thinking about it makes me very excited. Everyone, attack together with this Emperor. If this continues, the Emperor's mentality will explode. Weird, the Great Wasteland Emperor took the lead. The terrifying Emperor's palm is bigger than the entire city. It is extremely shocking, hearing that everyone dared not disobey. It is simply rare to see a great Emperor asking for help. Directly ready to go. You. Bai Fengyao on the top of the city was anxious. These people are really stubborn. How can this be? Suddenly, seeing a figure, her beautiful eyes widened immediately. Fang Yuehua and the Lord of the Sound had to bite the bullet. They came here. It would not be easy to leave. Otherwise, I am afraid that the Great Wasteland Emperor would settle the score later. Helpless, at the same time, Chen moved, waiting for this opportunity. Of course, hiding the breath, seeing Chen's strength, Fang Yuehua could vaguely sense that Chen was stronger than her. May I know your name? It shouldn't be the nameless person, but she couldn't think of it. The Lord of the Sound looked at him a little sideways. So you didn't know him and said so much? Before taking action, you have to listen to the gossip first. It's better to play the piano and listen at the same time. However, I only heard. Master. Bai Fengyao looked at Chen in the crowd and called the master a fool. At the same time, Chen took action directly, aiming at the Great Emperor Taihuang. The terrifying imperial power rolled away directly. The teammates next to him burst out with such a magnificent energy, and Fang Yuehua and the Lord of the Sound finally managed to stabilize their bodies. The head was buzzing, confused, and immediately the heart was in turmoil. Then he heard two words, Chen. After Chen finished speaking, he slapped his palm, Xuanhuan Divine Emperor palm, that he lacked some experience and combat experience in dealing with the same level of strong men, so he did it just in case. Of course, he was not Lao Lu. He just wanted to stay alive and be steady. He was still clear about this principle. Everything was done simultaneously, between the sparks of electric carbide, and no one could react so quickly. Even so, the terrifying threat from behind made the Great Emperor Taihuang look wildly, not good, that he reacted very quickly and quickly slapped his palm back. At the same time, in his eyeballs, a huge palm shadow was reflected. Golden light flashed, communicating with the way of heaven, and becoming one with heaven. The power was terrifying. It seemed that his Great Emperor palm could not compare to the opponent's, Big Doe. Great Emperor. The voice was slightly hoarse. Boom. Before anyone could react, the Great Emperor Taihuang was hit and fell to the ground. A thick layer of dust rose, the entire area was almost lifeless, and the weak ones were affected and died on the spot. The stronger ones with better luck were turned upside down, as if they were dug 3 feet deep. On the other hand, a strange man appeared above his head. Everything happened at lightning speed, and no one expected the sudden disaster of destruction. Ding! Mission completed. Congratulations to the host for winning the reward, the 3-year-old puppet of the Tribulation Realm. Chen, without any mercy, standing in the air, with his hands behind his back, his body flashed the supreme golden light at this moment, flowing brilliantly, and the power of chaos was entangled. That was the shape of the supreme bone. P.S. Ask for bookshelf, ask for quick free short videos and reward support. Chapter 18, The Power of the Heavenly Law of Order, Killing the Great Emperor Taihuang. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Quiet, incomparable tranquility. In addition to the monks who were turned to ashes, there were corpses everywhere before they were affected and shattered, and the survivors were all in danger. Retreat, retreat, retreat. There was no time to even look up at Chen Fan. What happened? All of them were pale. It was too sudden. And in front of them, it was all dust, and it was unclear. Chen Luo and the others looked solemnly. The other party was an emperor, and it was impossible not to worry about their own ancestors. Only Bai Fengyao was ecstatic. This proved that everything she said before was true, right? Staring at it, according to the book, this is probably no less than a nuclear bomb explosion. Thinking so, and Chen Fan looked down from above. Since these people dared to come, they should be determined to die. Some ants, of course, will not run away. Emperor Taihuang, why do you want to attack my Chen family? That the cold voice questioned, and the voice shook out. It's not easy for the emperor to die like this. Moreover, in Beidazu, the emperor with such a move can only be the one from Taihuang Holy Land, no one else. The dust flew, and then was peeled off by a beam of light. The emperor of Taihuang was embarrassed in the air. Supreme Bone. Who are you? The turbid eyes were filled with disbelief, but he had been severely injured, and the opponent's move was amazing. He thought he was not as good as him, but a great emperor actually attacked him from behind. He was so angry that he wanted to curse. At this time, everyone saw clearly that the young man above his head actually attacked an emperor. Hiss. What? You came to my Chen family, and you didn't ask if this is your territory? Chen Fan asked back. Chen Fan. You are Chen Fan. The heart of the Emperor of Taihuang sank. How is it possible? He is really an emperor. That girl from the ancient Phoenix clan is not lying. Moreover, Chen Fan has the supreme bone. The body of the innate supreme. That's right. Chen Fan's eyes flashed coldly. Since you are here, then stay. The Great Emperor Taihuang has the second level of the Emperor realm. And he is the first level of the Emperor realm. There is a gap, but in terms of the quality of the skills and magical powers, the other party can't catch up with him, not to mention that under the supreme bone and the chaos Dao body, this flesh body is an endless treasure. It's enough to make up for it. After Chen Fan finished speaking, he made another palm, this time with even greater power. The Great Emperor Taihuang immediately wanted to retreat. He saw it with his own eyes. It can't be fake, no matter how hard it is to believe, it is the truth. An emperor in his early 20s, is God kidding? I've got this in mind in the Holy Land of Taihuang. The voice gradually became illusory, and the Great Emperor of Taihuang chose to flee directly. Because he was seriously injured and attacked. Fighting with Chen Fan, there might be something wrong, as both are great emperors. Could it be that if he wants to leave, Chen Fan can still stop him? The Taoist of Jiyuan and the Saint of Wuhui finally escaped from the circle of the fight between the gods, but they were frightened when they heard this. This Chen Fan of the Chen family is actually a great emperor. He even has the supreme bone. The Great Emperor of Taihuang did not choose to confront him head-on, but left. Escape. They just had to flee. Are you kidding? How could they be opponents? Turn around and leave, and Fang Yuehua and the Lord of Illusionary Sound were in a state of shock. Before that, Chen Fan was still beside them, chatting. However, the next moment, such a scene happened. Emperor Realm strongmen. This thought made them unable to calm down for a long time, and their faces were extremely solemn. Very embarrassing. Are they here? Escape? Or not escape? Then, they heard. Want to leave? Chen Fan disappeared into the void. Order Heavenly Dao Ju. That with a wave of his hand, the magic power shook. The Emperor can block the space at will. A short period of stagnation. This is the power of the Heavenly Dao, and now, under the order Heavenly Dao Ju, everything must come according to his rules. At this distance, it's too late to leave. Not to mention that under the double pupils, even if the Great Emperor Taihuang wants to use the void to escape, there is no escape. Immediately, Fang Yuehua and the Lord of Illusionary Sound froze in place, unable to move. They can't escape even if they want to, and they can be slaughtered. Looking at the young man who stepped into the void to chase the Great Emperor Taihuang, his mind was blank for a while. Too strong, the Great Emperor Taihuang was even more shocked when he sensed the power of rules coming around him. What kind of magic skill is this? As if he was trapped in a quagmire, the energy fluctuations were visible to the naked eye, and every strand of silk seemed to be following Chen Fan's command and weaving a bondage. That was the power of order. Not good. Sensing a cold killing intent, the powerful emperor felt fear for the first time. The Great Emperor. He operated the skills at the same time. Jiyuan Taoist and Wuhui Saint were affected and could not escape at all. Obviously, there was a head-on force, so why did the Great Emperor sneak attack? This all started from the sneak attack of the Great Emperor Taihuang by Chen Fan, otherwise he would not be so passive. At this moment, it seemed that the Great Emperor Taihuang was entangled, and he was extremely terrified for a while. He immediately howled at Fang Yuehua and the others, attacked together. That even though Chen Fan was a powerful emperor, he was extremely powerful. But the Great Emperor Taihuang is here, and the 4 Saint Realm Masters may be able to break free. However, just after he finished speaking, a cold killing intent descended. The Jiyuan Taoist felt a bone-chilling chill in his heart, and was completely scared. He didn't want to die here. Emperor, calm down, I am from the Tianfu sect. Then what? Die. Chen Fan's palm fell flat. the voice of Jiuan Taoist suddenly stopped, and then it was completely shattered. He had no power to resist and was slaughtered. Just now, he had been using Fang Yuehua and the others as a cover and secretly observing. None of the people who should be killed could escape his double pupils. The Saint Wuhui was like entering an ice cellar. Jiuan Taoist was dead, so he himself, soon, he felt like he was being stared at by a tiger or a wolf, and his whole body was cold. Let me go, I can be a slave. He regretted it. The little girl was right. Die. Chen Fan wiped them out casually. Here, they were the strongest. They were afraid of accidents and should be eliminated as soon as possible. The Saint Wuhui disappeared in an instant. Fang Yuehua and the Lord of Illusionary Sound watched Chen Fan enter an empty space and wipe out the two saints. He had no intention of joining forces with the two saints. Don't see us, pray in your heart. When the gods fight, the innocent people suffer. They can't intervene in the battle between the emperors. Yunlan, it's wise to leave. Taishan Bell. A loud shout, the great emperor of Taihuang directly activated his spiritual weapon, a huge heaven and earth treasure bell. Two clangs, buzz, endlessly, rapidly expanding and enveloping the world. Just the buzzing sound can make people feel like they are annihilated. Go. You are careless, and you don't have the heart to fight me. The great emperor of Taihuang seized the opportunity and fought back directly. He has a bad temper, although it is considered a serious injury. Once the emperor-level spiritual weapon comes out, Chen Fan may not be able to do anything to him. And this voice almost made Fang Yuehua and the Lord of Illusionary Sound faint. Really? Chen Fan sneered and greeted it with a palm. Boom, the horrible collision wave caused the space to begin to distort and deform. Under the supreme bone, the emperor's weapon was hard. The golden light of the supreme bone emerged, and the supreme blood surged. How could it be? The face of the great Emperor Taihuang suddenly turned pale. Chen Fan's skills were very strange. It seemed that he had the bonus of the emperor's weapon, but in fact he had fallen into Chen Fan's trap. He could not exert the power at all. Fear, trembling. Die. Chen Fan spit out a word. Staying is just a disaster. No, thought the great Emperor Taihuang was completely scared. With a long drag, he didn't expect that he would die here on this trip. And it all started with Chen Fan's sneak attack. Unwilling, how could he be willing? Chen Fan showed no mercy, and the Xuanhuan Divine Emperor palm hit him directly. The great Emperor Taihuang simply avoided it. Afterwards, he was shocked to the point of being completely destroyed and completely perished. After killing the great Emperor Taihuang, Chen Fan's strength was almost exhausted, and he put away the great Emperor bell. Not bad, a good thing, a great emperor, fell like this. Fang Yuehua and the Lord of Illusionary Sound watched the whole process, watching the great emperor being hunted to death, unable to escape. What should they do then? Bai Fengyao almost cried with envy. Is this the power of the order Heavenly Dao Ju? So powerful, not invincible at the same level, an absolutely crushing technique. Master. Then he ran away. Chen Luo and the others breathed a sigh of relief. Ancestor, mighty. Chen Fan waved his hand and summoned 3,000 puppets of the crossing tribulation realm. For a moment, countless strong men appeared in the sky, and the visual pressure made people's eyelids jump wildly. Surrounding Chen Fan, everyone was shocked again. So many, crossing tribulation realm. Chen Fan said, clean up. It's rare to find a Saint Realm warrior, and there are no more. The rest will be handed over to the Tribulation Realm puppets to clean up everything. Yes, Master. For a moment, the 3,000 puppets looked down at the survivors below, revealing a cold light. The choice of fighting more without any martial ethics, refining a hell of death. Wherever you go, it's a harvester. Since you are here, don't leave. Those who watch the fun will leave their heads behind. Then, Chen Fan looked at Fang Yuehua and the Lord of Illusionary Sound on the side. Chapter 19, Chen Fan's Thoughts. Please leave it to you too. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 19, Chen Fan's Thoughts. Please leave it to you. The Lord of Moon Painting in Sound is sighing at Chen Fan's methods. There are so many people in the Tribulation Realm. What kind of ability is this? So terrifying. After noticing Chen Fan's gaze, her breathing suddenly fluctuated. Emperor, calm down. Hurry up and surrender. I don't know why Chen Fan kept them. Is it just because they chatted before? It shouldn't be, Chen Fan said lightly, let them go, I won't kill you. The Lord of Moon Painting and Sound was relieved. I don't know why, but they are alive, and the others are dead. The Great Emperor Taihuang is dead. Thank you, the Great Emperor, for your forgiveness. The two responded softly as if they were dreaming. Everything just now was vivid in my mind. How could I let them go easily? The threat of death is extremely real, however. In his eyes, he showed great respect for Chen Fan. Not only was he a powerful emperor, but he was also so young. There is no one before him and no one after him. When he saw Yuehua, he thought about what happened in the past. That young Chen Fan has now become an emperor in a strange way. It must be true. It's a pity that they missed the great opportunity teammate in the Holy Land of Shinto. Otherwise, they would have a favorable bond with Chen Fan. Chen Fan pondered his own affairs. He said, Saint King Yuehua, I don't kill you, of course there is a reason. Because of Ling Qingqing, it's even, this back door still needs to be opened for her. As for you, Lord of the Sound, you should thank Saint King Yuehua. It seems that they have the intention of forming a temporary team to steal his house. I didn't know it before, but later, Lord of the Sound seemed to want to leave, but he didn't dare to retreat because of Emperor Taihuang. Of course, he has other purposes and needs to be used. Thank me. Yuehua didn't understand what Chen Fan meant. What reason did she not know? The Lord of the Sound quickly knelt down, the green veil covered her face, her voice was extremely beautiful, refreshing, but somewhat tempting. Yin Lu, am willing to submit to the emperor. She had no choice. The Qiankun Daoyu was right next to the Tianyuan domain, too close. The emperor-level forces appeared, and if they didn't want to submit, it seemed that they had no choice. If the distance was far away, it would be out of control. Just like the Taihuang Daoyu, the forces of all sizes in the surrounding areas would be attached to the Taihuang Holy Land. Of course, Chen Fan was so mysterious and powerful at such a young age, and this place was extraordinary, so it might be a good thing. Moreover, the main reason was Yunlan's words before. As a woman, she was a little wary, and was quite interested in Chen Fan's mystery, and she was willing to retreat. Then Yuehua stood together. As for Chen Fan's thanks to the moon painting Saint King, she didn't understand the connection. Chen Fan hummed, didn't want to explain, and then glanced at the two people. In this case, this seat, there is one thing, I want to ask you two for help. It's natural to worry about the emperor. The two people were relieved immediately, but they were afraid that Chen Fan didn't have the conditions. That would be the most terrifying. After all, the weak should be weak. However, Chen Fan's words made them stun directly. Okay. Help me, a child. Chen Fan said seriously. The Lord of the Moon Painting Sound was panicked and unbelievable. Could it be that Chen Fan was thinking, that Chen Fan is indeed powerful and mysterious, but they are not fledgling girls? I don't know how much older they are than Chen Fan. Chen Fan is so young, but he has already started thinking about this kind of thing. Bai Fengyao, who was running, heard the master's words, and her steps became slower and slower. The smile on her face gradually faded, and she stopped on the spot. It was fake to say that a master is a father for life. The master actually wanted a child. And someone else wanted it. It was a bolt from the blue. There was no love. Don't get me wrong. Chen Fan said, I just want you to whisper in someone's ear and help me have a child. It was reasonable for Yuehua, the master, to come forward, and she could definitely help him. Assist, the music tower, a place for women, know women best, especially their magical sixth sense, can whisper to Ling Qingqing, do this as soon as possible, and he will let it go. The Lord of Music of Yuehua was embarrassed. Fortunately, it turned out to be this matter. It was not what they thought. Emperor, who are you? Yuehua was a little confused. Why did they come? The Lord of Sound looked confused. Chen Fan said, you will know when you meet him. Turning his head, he found that his disciples were standing there. Fengyao. Master. Bai Fengyao's face was serious. I'm guarding the house for you, and you actually want to do this. At this time, a group of figures approached. Ling Qingqing came with some disciples. Ling Qingqing noticed the battlefield here at the first time. It was devastated. There must be a war, not to mention those orderly beings. There were thousands of figures, and they seemed to be stronger than her. Unbelievable. And the spiritual energy here is so rich that it has reached a terrifying level. Then, seeing that familiar figure, next to the great emperor's husband. Master. Master actually came to the Chen family. Chen Xuandao returned, and naturally looked at the two big words of the Chen family. His blood was boiling, and he rose up. It was not in vain that he had been undercover for so many years, although it didn't matter to him. In fact, the scene in front of him was too shocking. All of them were powerful. The disciples who followed him were stunned. Yuehua heard this voice and looked over. Qingqing. Why is the disciple here? He also brought with him an elder from the sect and a disciple of the Shinto Holy Land. Could it be that he formed a group to come out for training? Chen Fan saw this and smiled. He reminded in a low voice, you too, remember our agreement. By the way, she is the mistress here. She solemnly announced. Bai Fengyao quickly looked over. Mistress, isn't that master wife? She looks very beautiful, prettier than any woman she has ever seen, with that kind of temperament, except when she looks in the mirror. Yuehua was like a bolt from the blue. His eyes were shocked. Disciple, it was stolen. He never expected that Chen Fan would abduct her disciple when he went to Fengyao. Is it possible? He gave Chen Fan a confused look. The Lord of the Sound noticed it. The hostess here is a disciple of the Holy King of Moon Paintings. Somewhat messy. No wonder Chen Fan said that before. If you have this kind of relationship, you can save your life. Chen Fan nodded. Positive. Even if the moon painting is a saint, it will be difficult to calm down. After agreeing to Chen Fan, wouldn't she say that she would turn a deaf ear to her disciple? Puff, this great emperor doesn't play by the rules. But she is willing to agree to this marriage. He looked at the figure of his disciple. Come slowly. Since most of the things here were dead, the news did not spread quickly, but there has been an uproar within many forces. The fall of the strong men in the Holy Realm, the fall of the strong men in the Tribulation Realm and the Tao Palace Realm, and the shattering of the life cards are a heavy blow to many forces. Eager to start looking for the cause, it is necessary to find out the reason and take revenge. It's such a desolate holy land that the sky is falling. The great emperor has fallen. The faces of many holy masters were extremely ugly. The emperor personally went out to look for the mysterious treasure of Baidi state. Unexpectedly, he received such bad news. He went out and could not come back. It was like a nightmare. A generation of great emperors can fall. This means that the Holy Land has suffered an unprecedented blow, but the person who can kill the powerful emperor must be the great emperor. In this way, they, the holy masters, have no chance to take revenge. There is no power. Ding, your sign-in is successful. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the ancient god and demon field. On this day, Chen Fan was receiving the subsistence allowance reward. The ancient gods and demons field, a secret space of experience, which contains countless opportunities. Of course, risks coexist. Chen Fan murmured to himself, with this thing, the Chen family will definitely take a step forward. Before that happens, there needs to be geographic expansion. The current scale alone is no longer enough. The ancient gods and demons field is no different from a forbidden place, and no one knows where to put it. If it is used as an overlapping space and can be opened when needed, it will be very troublesome when he is not there. After all, he is the only emperor now. Moreover, with 3,000 Tribulation Realm puppets, it is enough to occupy 3,000 large and small cities. Unless there is a city with a strong man in the Holy Realm, it may be more difficult to attack if he doesn't show up, but he hasn't thought that far yet. There are not enough manpower and empty space. It will be difficult to manage and control. As a base, this Qinjia city must be big enough and unique. Building an indestructible fortress requires a lot of materials, he has a long way to go, Chen Fan thought deeply. I wonder what's going on with the moon painting Saint King. It's better to fool the Empress Master Dazai first. Then get up and go out. At this time, in a large hall, the moon was fine when I drew it, but now, I can't go back for the time being. He almost vomited blood when he learned that Chen Xuandao, the elder of the sect, was actually the ancestor of the Chen family and returned to the Chen family with his disciples. However, she didn't care about this small gain or loss, she focused on her precious disciple. Look at the disciple. The taste is mixed, said Qingqing. What do you think of the Emperor? That this kind of thing is a bit difficult for master, so you need to do it slowly, but there is one thing to say, the spiritual energy here is so rich that it is simply a holy land for spiritual practice. It's many times stronger than their Shinto Holy Land. She even began to consider moving here with her disciples to retreat, and she would definitely have a chance to touch the realm of the Great Emperor. Shorten the training time. Ling Qingqing did not hesitate at all. Master, there is no one more suitable to be my husband than him. Chapter 20 Fang Yuehua deceives her disciples, the secrets of the past. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 20, Fang Yuehua deceives his younger brother, the secret of the past. My brother can actually say such things. She is at Sundra. Fang Yuehua felt uncomfortable. Then what? That's a good thing, though, it just refreshed her understanding of brother. Maybe Chen said something to her before, which made her a little emotional. Thinking about it this way. Then. Master, this is the most rational choice. Ling Qingqing looked a little serious. However, my current age is not suitable for marriage, otherwise it will affect my cultivation path. As for what Chen told her, it was all a secret bond between them, and she had no intention of telling the third person, including the current master. Fang Yuehua hummed, that makes sense. Asking my brother to give birth to Chen, to give birth to a baby, as long as my brother is willing, he will take the first step. Knowing that Ling Qingqing was worried about her own cultivation, she then started from this aspect to eliminate her worries. This task was of course Chen. She doesn't have this ability. Then he continued, the spiritual energy here is rich, and it is indeed more suitable for practice than the Shinto Holy Land. Perhaps this is all arranged by Emperor. I really don't know how he practices. He glanced at his brother's expression and told the truth. The master really didn't praise him in your ears. Of course Ling Qingqing also knew that this was all done by Chen, and was indeed a little curious. He must have his own secret. How can reincarnation of a strong person be simple? She understands this truth. She thought it was very simple. When she came back and took a look at the Chen family, it seemed different from what she had imagined. Strong, but not strong. Of course, the richness of the spiritual energy here is too exaggerated, and it can indeed help her practice quickly. In this case, she must pursue the cultivation of the emperor's husband. Seeing that his younger brother was very interested in Chen, Fang Yuehua began to give advice. Qingqing, if your cultivation is not delayed, would you choose to get married early? Ling Qingqing became silent. Fang Yuehua hurriedly said, as the saying goes, to start a family and start a career, you must first start a family and then start a career. Cultivation is this career. Ling Qingqing looked at Fang Yuehua and said, Master, you haven't gotten married yet, haven't you cultivated to the extreme? Fang Yuehua froze on the spot. Master just said it casually. However, Master still wants to tell you something. It is not bad to meet a good person and get married. Otherwise, if you miss it, you will not regret it. Ling Qingqing felt that she and Chen had a previous bond, so how could Chen run away? It's better to wait until she reaches a higher level of cultivation and awakens her previous memories, and then they can make up for a child. So, Master, you just haven't met a kind-hearted person. Fang Yuehua said silently, that's what said. But at the level of, I don't bother to think about such things. You are all that Master expects. Solemnly, seriously. Master, I treat you like my daughter. Ling Qingqing. Is this the reason why you came to rush me? In the first sentence, it felt like Master expected her to be strong, but in the second sentence it changed. It felt like Master wanted to have a grandchild. Chen was halfway, but met, real name Mo Qinyin. I've met Emperor. Mo Qinyin nodded. Of course she is not suitable to turn a deaf ear to the moon painting Saint King's younger brother, after all, they are not familiar with it, Chen said. What's the matter? Mo Qinyin hesitated slightly. Qinyin, are you brave? Emperor, I heard that your engagement has been annulled. It does happen. Chen admitted decisively, because this kind of thing is just like a joke to him and there is no need to pay attention to it. That's good. Mo Qinyin smiled, but then she felt something was wrong and quickly changed her words. Emperor, I didn't mean that. I want to say that Luo Yunzongzong and Luo Yunzong Saint have been here before. Chen smiled. As expected, women understand women better. He understood what Mo Qinyin meant. I see. By the way, it's not fun to hear the concentrating divine song of. Why not give Qingqing a chance or two? People in Yinlu are all good at harmony. This thing can hone the soul. The emperor said it before, I should do it. Mo Qinyin responded. Chen hummed, turned and left. Mo Qinyin looked at Chen's back. Emperor wanted to have a child at such a young age. Sure enough, he behaved differently. But that's right, when you reach the level of emperor, inheritance seems to be more important. If asked, she would not refuse. Shaking her head, she still wanted to cooperate with Fang Yuehua. Moreover, this place is extremely suitable for practicing. If you come here, take a good time. If you can't go back, then you won't go back for the time being. Chen wanted to go to Ling Qingqing, but he turned around and went to the Chen family to discuss expansion matters. Seeing Chen coming, everyone saluted. Old ancestor. Chen Xuandao stared. He came back very suddenly. He was demoted. Die filial piety, but I am willing to sigh at the changes in the blue sky. Chen took a look and found that Feng Yao's girl was not there. She didn't know where she had gone. Said, everyone, the Chen family's territory should be expanded. The family should explore more information these days. Everyone's spirits were shaken so quickly, but it's also reasonable. Yes, ancestor. They all agreed. Chen then looked at Chen Xuandao. I have something to say to the elder. Hearing this, everyone consciously retreated. There were only two of them in the hall. Ancestor, what's the matter? Chen Xuandao was not used to calling himself by his proper name. Chen was a little serious. Elder, you have a lot of experience. I want to know some information about the whereabouts of the Chen family. Undercover. Otherwise, he would be frightened every time, and this mission must be carried out step by step. Chen Xuandao said seriously, Ancestor, I don't know about this matter. Unless I encounter it by chance, I don't know where the Chen family has gone. It was quite mysterious. Chen didn't get tangled up, and could only go with the flow. What about my father and mother? Did they leave any message before they left? Madam. Chen Xuandao hesitated. Madam went to her mother's family and returned soon. If there is no danger, she should stay in her mother's family. It's okay to stay in her mother's family. No one wants to see danger. Chen nodded. My mother's life card is intact, so it should be fine. As for Taishu province, I will go to see her. His mother's family is in Taishu province. Taishu province is a little far away from Baidi province and separated by other provinces. Of course, for him, it doesn't make any difference. Chen Xuandao heard this and continued, as for my family. Shaking his head, I don't know either. I only know that my family came back once and heard something. What is it? Grandpa, this matter is related to the Xuanji Emperor. Chen Xuandao continued, even if my Chen family has some background, it is extremely difficult to convince an emperor to accept you as his disciple. Chen Xuandao was shocked. There is something fishy. Could it be related to my father? Indeed. A emperor, who is arrogant and doesn't care about vulgar things, seems impossible to buy a master. Now that Chen Xuandao mentioned it, he was sure of this point, and it was enlightening. Chen Xuandao nodded solemnly, that's right. It was my family who talked to Emperor Xuanji at that time. No one knows the details. But it is speculated that there should be some valuable information. After all, my family was training outside at that time. Valuable information can make an emperor open his mouth, which is definitely extraordinary, Chen asked. What about my Chen family's background? Chen Xuandao sighed. At that time, in order to send you to the female emperor's club, it was my family's face. As for those things of my Chen family, they were all used as a cover. It seems that they don't want outsiders to suspect. Chen thought of this, so that's it, it's to cover up, for the sake of the pattern, short-term gains and losses are not worth mentioning. This is also one of the reasons why we went undercover in other forces, to match the illusion. Now, the whereabouts of Emperor Xuanji are unknown, and your father has returned. I am afraid no one knows the reason. Chen Xian said meaningfully, it is enough for Chen to know this, anyway, it is a deal from the beginning, before finding his father, he probably won't know the secret, when Emperor Xuanji reincarnates, unless Ling Qingqing awakens his memories before awakening, he will not know, however, this secret was digested by him, Chen, they are all family members, so there is no need to say two things. Suddenly, Chen Xiao thought of Chen Wankai before. It seems that father can stay out of danger. Chen Xuandao also realized that ordinary disciples didn't know, but the betrayal of the core power of the Chen family was enough to make people speculate and suspect it. Grandmaster, what should we do? It doesn't matter. Chen Zhao's eyes flashed slightly, it's just something that is not necessary. Leave the rest to me to deal with. Huang Xiaolu is so bad, even if he is the emperor, it is difficult to find someone. It's also difficult for others to find. In the palace, Fang Yuehua was chatting with Ling Qingqing, suddenly a voice. Master's wife.